Wow. Wednesday night. It comes so fast. There's so much crazy in the world, right? Isn't it just, it is just that. It is crazy time. So let's, uh, let's get into some thoughts before we get into it too much. Again, all of the easy stuff, right? Like subscribe, all that kind of stuff, right? We're not going to be able to keep doing the Facebook thing forever. You'll have to go over to YouTube to be able to catch this live, make your comments known, share your stories, that kind of thing. B Jones, B Jones Pops at Gmail will get you hooked up with your comments and questions and those kinds of things if you like. Feel free to do that. We'll have different segments and try to hit you with those kinds of things. A great show again tonight. Robert Harriman will be in and out with us tonight, sharing some stuff and his thoughts on things. Obviously, Alex Snicker from Unattended Baggage will again be joining us and gracing us with his insight and a fun time. So, always good times, tons of stuff to get to. Let me first start before the boys get here and have a little tribute for you guys. Had some horrible news this week. Was just really shocked. I'm sorry if it seems trivial to some of you. This was my news. Pulled into a Steak and Shake. I pulled next. I didn't want a Steak and Shake. Wanted my Arby's after church, and it was the horrible news. No more potato cakes. Arby's started in the '60s. Been going to Arby's after church for many, many years. It's pretty rough, man. Didn't make it out of the pandemic. Wasn't real happy about this. Didn't like it at all. Yep. Yep. Buy potato cakes. So this article was a few days ago. I hadn't seen it. Didn't know this was coming for a couple weeks. People have been speaking out. What happened? Did the potato cakes cheat on you? With a picture of a box. It talks about discontinued potato box. Crinkle fries. People are complaining they're not any good. They're all right. Curly fries are all right. We want our potato cakes back. I'm with you, people. I'm with you. Is it possible potato cake love is a regional thing? One fan mourns, others are replying with confusion. What is a potato cake? What is a potato cake? What's wrong with you people? How have you not had the glory and the fluffiness of like two hash browns that are perfectly wedded together to make a luscious potato cake snack? I feel bad that I've taken potato cakes for granted this whole time. And now there's no potato cakes. And I'm sure I'm being dramatic in some of your eyes with all the things going on in the world. And I have a right to be dramatic. But tonight, it's about keeping your hope, keeping your faith. Don't stop believing, baby. Don't stop believing. Because what I also learned this week is the coming up in October, the 40th anniversary of I Will Argue and Make a Case for the greatest song of all time. Don't Stop Believing. And maybe not the greatest, but it's definitely one of the greatest. Because only 2 songs I found out today. Only 2 songs. Now, again, statistics are statistics. Could be outdated. Pandemic changes all the rules with that kind of thing. 2 songs have been downloaded 1 billion times. Maybe you know what they are. I didn't know, but I do now. We're going to talk about that later on tonight. You can join me and chime in with your thoughts on music, Rolling Stones top 500 songs, and like spoiler alert, they disrespect Journey, man. Who are these people? Who are these people? All right, let's have some fun. Let's get to some of it. I got to bring on a guest. Got a little treat for him tonight from Unattended Baggage, the former candidate for the U.S. Senate, Libertarian Party guru, an all-around nice guy.
I promised Brandon I wouldn't curse on the show, but it's so hard.
Gonna get worse.
Fat, dumb, and happy, man. God bless America. Again, authoritarian psychopath. I mean,
You ready?
again, authoritarian psychopath.
Alex Nicker, gonna bring you up in here, buddy. Gonna bring you in. How
Hello.
you doing, my
I'm doing good.
friend? It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to have you. And hopefully I did an intro to give you a little bit of justice. We'll help you a work in progress. You know, what can I say?
Hey, it looked good.
All right, all right. So did you know about the potato cake dilemma that I'm dealing with currently?
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this was my crisis after church. Go to potato cake, go to Arby's, roll up an Arby's, and it's like they just nonchalantly say, no more. A couple weeks ago, there'd been this article, and Arby's did away with the potato cakes, man. Done. Done. Curly fries. Yeah, they're all right. I'm not going to complain, but they're no potato cake, man. I've been doing potato cakes for years. So I'll be honest. Your video wasn't the only one that I did. I thought I would do a tribute to potato cakes. All right, you get the idea. You get the idea.
Now, it does make me sad when something that I like at a fast food place goes away. They did it with Nashville
Didn't make
Hot
the
at Kentucky
pandemic.
Fried Chicken.
Man, we're gonna start making a list. We have to do our part, man, to be advocates for these things. I don't know what to say or what to do sometimes when we this just snuck by us, Snicker. How I feel like I really let people
sometimes
down.
I think that sometimes when they put that stuff out there, like I don't really believe them when they tell me that it's going to go away or it's only there for a limited time, but it ends up being the case.
Yeah.
I haven't been back to Kentucky Fried Chicken since that day that I went there and they didn't have the Nashville hot sauce anymore.
Wow. Good for you.
My
way
own
to be
single
dedicated,
way of
my
protesting.
friend.
Just my own single way of I used to love just getting the little chicken littles, have some Nashville hot sauce on it. It was the right amount of spice. Really liked it, but they got rid of it. It was so sad. Then they tried to give me buffalo, and I was like, yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, that's silly. That was just silly. Because the Nashville really could light you up, especially if you were, going into this unexpected. But the buffalo, please, second rate compared to Nashville.
Yeah.
See, what the restaurants don't understand is why get rid of it completely? Now, I'm not saying they didn't make a good business decision. I don't know their numbers, but let's just presume what you and I are saying, we're in the minority. Why would you not go McRib with this, right? McRib is the perfect thing. None of us are really out there like clamoring, God, I want, we're sad that there's no McRibs year round. But when they show you that commercial of that little fake meat, it's all made up to look like an actual piece of meat. We're like, I could go for a McRib. Why not do a seasonal thing? Just roll it out once or twice a year, make some commercials. Hey, I got to be honest, I'm on the potato cake bandwagon. I'll help them edit something up, man. I'm telling you right now.
Now, how do you know that they're not going to do that with the potato cakes?
I don't know 100%, but all of the press that I found, because I actually went and was like on my phone, like, why are there not potato cakes? And they were very nonchalant about we're not carrying them anymore. And I actually kind of I didn't know what to say. I was speechless. I'm like, what do you mean you're not having them anymore? Like, is there like just this one, or like they're all gone? And like, no, we discontinued them. And I'm like, so all the little pressers, I only saw a couple, obviously, and it implies they're not coming back. Now, I'm not going to let this go. There evidently is a petition. I'm more than happy to shake that out and figure out that petition and be a part of bring back potato cakes. Potato cakes 2.0, man.
Man, that does suck though.
Yeah, didn't make it.
You make these whole brand new buildings now. You think you're going to get somewhere, and don't get me wrong. I think Arby's has one of the most interesting menus out of all the fast food places.
Yeah, I do think it's weird that they continue. Some of these places continue to diversify, and I'm like, no, man, I want you to keep it simple. I don't really want your chicken. I don't know about you. I've never had their chicken. It's praised. People like their chicken. The one article talks about their best things, and they have a lot of different things on their menu. I will say the little hero with the lamb is actually pretty good. They do like a roast beef one. Yeah, it's
Oh,
actually pretty good. Had that one.
I'm gonna have to try
That's not
that. I might
bad.
have to try that. I remember
Yeah, it's
when I
not
was in
bad
the
at
Marine
all.
Corps, I
It's
went to
been pretty
Greece
good.
one time. When I was in the Marine Corps, I went
Yeah.
to Greece one time. And that's the first time I ever saw them with the, with they have the big circular meat things, and they just slice the meat off.
Oh, right. They shave it on the sides. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh yeah, the first time I
Yeah.
had it, I was actually in Greece.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I had it in Tarpon Springs. Closest thing.
That's about the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So Bob's going to be in and out with us tonight. The first story that came over was a serious one. But before we get to that, just a little teaser for those of you. I'm inviting the comments in. I'm letting them know they can talk to us, Snicker. Rolling Stone had this top 500 song list, and I've had it on my little list of things to talk about for a couple weeks. Didn't really get to it. Got to be honest, kind of cared, kind of didn't care. Had my issues with it. But then today, there's days where you feel a little blue. I don't know about you,
Hmm.
but Alex, we do so much of this that we're kind of like, you kind of get immune to it because you're kind of like expect it. Like you don't expect the government to be competent. You don't expect things in the Middle East to get better. They're not going to stop spending money. And actually, that should be our segment. Before we get to the real story, we'll do a quick segment on that. I'll cover something. I have an idea on that. But then I was like, you know what? I need to pick me up. Now, I don't know about you, but I cheat. I always go to like my Nexus era, and I pulled up "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. It's one of the greatest. It's in that little era. It's just peppy. It's a karaoke type song, whatever. And I found out today, I was looking, it came out 40 years ago in October. It's the 40th anniversary of
Oh,
this song. And I'm going to make a case for it being one of the best songs of all time. I'm going to make a case. And I don't even care if you like that kind of music, folks. I'll make a case. I have statistics. So, Snicker, there's no reason for us to go through some of these stories. I'm going to throw out a topic, and I wish we had like the technology. This is why we're not allowed to have money, because if we had money, we'd do these things. We'd have a meter of it matters a lot. It doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't, it should matter. Maybe it should matter, doesn't matter. I don't know. We should have a little meter that goes around and we kind of, where does it go, right? So for instance, government shutdown. I'm going to make a case that it is so insignificant, waste of our time. It might be a 1 on matter, because what'll happen is they'll negotiate, deals will be struck, monies will be spent, federal employees will get a free vacation, they'll all get their back pay. Drama, drama, drama. Been through this before, just don't care. What do you think?
this is manufactured pseudo. What's the word for it? Pseudo crisis. They've known this state was coming. They had months to try to do something. The Democrats have complete power in the House and the Senate and the presidency to do all the things that they're trying to do. They refuse to do it. They wait until the last minute because they want this to be a crisis that people have to pay, or a manufactured crisis that people have to pay attention to. And that's the sad thing, is that they don't have to have this like this, but they choose to do this. And that's why I agree with you that it's a 1 on the scale. It's really not going to be a big deal. What they do is they close things down that cause pain. Like when Obama had the shutdown, he closed down a park that didn't require any people there. He just closed it down because he wanted to close something down. It goes the same with it. It is completely manufactured crisis. Both sides do it. It's a bipartisan thing. They both will do it, and it's just, you're right. It's a 1. It's a 0.5.
There he is, the Worm and Jim guy himself. I shared with Alex my little theme song for him. You did not respond to my text or email in time to know what to do for you, Mr. Worm Guy, but I will gladly try to do something for yourself. So, but welcome to the show. We are having a quick catch up on headlines using my new manufactured theme of should it even matter versus it doesn't really matter. If we had like this little needle or whatever, we were discussing government shutdown, how it doesn't really matter. Bob, let me go to you on the next one. The now testimony of these, I don't know, generals, DOD flunkies, whatever, on the Afghan pullout. Does it matter? Should it matter? Is there really anything that will come of it all? Where is it on the scale?
I think that also is pretty low.
I agree.
I mean, it's of interest because they're contradicting Biden. That's what is of interest. They're saying that they advised on leaving all these troops there. The Republicans, as you would expect, are rah-rahing over that, and so we're starting to see the old Republicans coming out of the woodwork again, Lynn Cheney and the rest.
Team sports.
Yeah, but I don't see it as that big of a deal. I think a lot of people just look at them as relatively shameful. They're politicians. They're not soldiers. And I think it's kind of small. I think if it is a big issue, it's because there are a lot of people in the country that are really ticked off on the fact that we have left people stranded there. Whatever the number may be, whether it's 100 or 5,000, you get a different story every single time. But that would be the only thing I think would be a factor.
Alex, what are your thoughts on the bureaucracy of these testimonies and things like that? What you think there's any real value that's in with any of this?
I wish it had value. I do actually wish it had value because, look, we lost Marines. The pullout was horrible. These guys should be held accountable for it. They're not going to be held accountable for it. So I mean, it doesn't matter, but it should matter.
The last one I'll throw out there is this went viral on Twitter, trending on Twitter. I don't even know the terminology. Look at me being a boomer. I'm not. I'm Gen Xer, by the way. But Trump will run again in 24 type hashtags, go crazy with all of these insane lefty nonsense. Matter, doesn't matter. Any thoughts? What do you think, Alex?
I mean, I think he's probably gonna. He shouldn't, but he's probably gonna. He doesn't take any blame for his own failures in the last election cycle. He don't get me wrong, there was a complete media apparatus that was against him. There was a whole lot of factors at play that was against him, and he fell into every trap that he needed to fall into, and he has sucked the air out of the room for anybody else. And I think it's a sad state of affairs that he's going to decide to run again, but he's got it locked up though. I mean, it's his for the losing. Nobody of any serious consequence is going to go against him. They're going to stay away and let him just run through the cycle.
Bob, you agree?
Yeah, in a lot of ways. And I really wish he wouldn't, because nothing can fire up the crazed lefties more than Donald Trump. So,
yeah. What else should be added, Bob? Anything else we should talk about before we move into my serious story? Should we rehash my mourning, my sadness that's going on right now?
I don't know what that was. What's bringing a tear to your eye?
Listen, Alex, do you hear a little mocking in his tone? I felt a little mocked right then.
I felt the love. No, I felt love. I felt it like here.
Okay.
Potato cakes, bro. They did away with potato cakes on me, man. I roll up into Arby's after church and my potato cake, we don't carry them anymore. What do you mean you don't carry them anymore?
Absolutely.
I look up on my phone, they're like, done. Yeah. Done. The death of potato cakes during the pandemic, man.
It was funnier the second time. It was funnier the second time.
Serious, man. You're mocking me.
I'm really sorry, bro.
All right, we'll get to this ridiculous, serious story. I'm going to be the soundbite to blow my gasket tonight because of this crazy lady. How do you say her name, Bob? This New York governor. Is it Hochul?
I'm not even sure. I don't even know.
Alex, do you know?
No. Not
I have no
Cuomo.
idea. It is not. It's the crazy lady. It's the crazy lady that replaced, and she's worse.
Yeah, she's pretty horrible.
So she went to this church, and she spoke, and that's what we're going to try to get if it'll stop buffering. I found this clip that works. It is a pretty decent clip of what she actually said in like the whole sequence, because she talked for a while, so I didn't want to deal with this whole like 5-minute segment trying to keep it queued up. But here she is. Let me see if we can get this to play. I just believe. Who am I kidding? God wants you to be vaccinated. He wants care about people.
I think we've lost Brandon.
Oh, we might have.
Yeah.
I guess God didn't want him to get to that part of the story.
No. No, but this is all I really know about this woman, and it's quite a despicable display.
Yeah, but you know what though? I've tended to find that I think when you hear people on the right use God, a lot of times they really truly mean it. I just think that when I hear people like this do it and they say that God wants you to be vaccinated, it just rings so hollow.
Yeah. Well, Alex, it really goes on. She's like calling up her apostles or some phrase like that, and that just reminds me so much of the state being a new god.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
I just cut the clip because they missed the clip may be part of the problem, sucking up my bandwidth. Let me finish her quote. I'm not sure where we lost everybody, so we'll do it again. There are people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. You know this. You know who they are. I need you to be my apostles. I need you to go out and talk about it and say, we owe this to each other. We love each other. Jesus taught us to love each other. And then she continues, how do we show that love but to care about each other enough to say, please get vaccinated because I love you. I want you to live.
Yeah.
This is gross. Gross. You're a horrible human. Horrible human. What is wrong with you?
I'm more convinced now than ever that I really am not going to take this vaccine simply because they say stuff like this. I'm just not going to do it. I'll take my chances. I'm not going to do it. There is something bad going on with this vaccine if you got to push this hard in order to try to get people to take it. Because it's just, again, I'm not even saying it's a bad thing to take this thing, but I'm telling you, the way these guys go about it, like to say stuff like this, I don't understand why you have such a hard on to make people take the vaccine.
I'm out of my mind with these people. I don't know what to say. You are gross. As a church person, put on the pastor hat. You're going to go before a church and you'll talk this way. Come up with any scenario where she's saying anything else that could be pro-Republican, right-wing, gun ownership, anything else. And imagine the outrage. We went to a church which says, we need you to do this. And in fact, God wants you to do this. Jesus wants you to do this. This is really that Tammy Faye Baker, Jerry Falwell type garbage that gave churches a bad name. And now, I didn't know the screen did that. That's interesting. Didn't know we do that. Oh my God, Bob, I don't even know why you shared this with me. You made me so upset.
Well, what did you send me? You sent me a text saying the theme is "Don't Stop Believing." That is absolutely the first thing that popped in my head.
That's true. I deserve that. That's true. That's very true. Don't Stop Believing was a Journey reference. We'll get to that later. We've already teased it once. We'll tease it again if we have to, because I'm emotionally scarred about my music, my safe spaces. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. This is just it's awful, and it's just awful. And the world's gross, and find your safe place.
It really makes you wonder why the Twitter world isn't going bonkers about those statements.
Well, because it's what they they don't know what to do. Probably. I actually didn't check Twitter. That's a good point.
God, you get lambasted, right? But this one seems to be an acceptable reference.
Yeah, I actually didn't check Twitter. I should have done that and find out, why they'd let her get away with that or not. But yeah, good point. Good question. Good point. So, okay, I wanted to dive a little bit into this Frederick Joseph story, and I'm obviously having some internet issues. I'm not sure how well it's going to go, but so everybody's probably heard about the story. You've basically got black guy and his significant other in a dog park come upon a white Karen. She starts saying some ridiculous things, allegedly, and says something along the lines of, staying in your hood, right? This is what she said. This is a screenshot from it. We're not going to try to play the video since I'm having some issues, but all right, stay in his hood, right? Now, basically what has transpired is this guy, he is a monster. Okay. You guys have seen the clip, or at least know what I'm referring to?
No, not at all.
No.
I know what you're referring to. I have not seen the clip.
It's not going to come up. I got a crazy rainstorm that's rolling in, so that's not going to work. So anyway, it's he starts the cell phone video after she said that, and he starts by saying, "Did you just said go back to my hood or stay in my hood?" And then you hear the other person chiming in or whatever, and she's not quite right. You feel like she could be drunk. You feel like she might have, I don't know what she did. Maybe she was, patronizing the New Zealand KFC from last week. She's not right. So that's how the story goes. So he goes viral with this nonsense, and he's a writer. His name is, let me get this all straight, Frederick Joseph, and he wrote this book. His book is called The Black Friend on Being a Better White Person. So that tells you what we're dealing with, people. We're dealing with crazy lefty people, right? So he comes out and he starts this campaign to go after her, right? He said on Sunday, at the dog park in Brooklyn with my fiance, this white woman was threatening to call the police and told us to stay in our hood because she had her dog confused with another dog that had been barking loudly. So she's a Karen. She's a crazy person, okay? Now he started recording. She tried to slap the phone out of my hand, okay? So anyway, this went through the system so fast. He had contacted the company where she works, which is called Bevy, B-E-V-Y. No idea who they are. And she was fired. Boom, done. Didn't even make it a day. She's kicked out of the club. Emma Sarley didn't get a day in HR. She was done. Zero tolerance for discriminatory behavior of any kind. Doesn't matter that she's in some dog park. She's not working. Has nothing to do with Bevy. Boom, done. She's gone, right? Okay. Then it gets crazier because this guy is a media prostitute. Pure and simple, right? I'm going to get to why. You're going to love how deep this goes, right? He says, well, it's unfortunate she had to lose her job. He begins by saying it's unfortunate she had to lose her job. He freaking organized getting this lady fired and canceled. I do think that this brings up an important conversation about accountability, especially in our country where Black and brown people, marginalized people as a whole, have seen so little of it. Have seen so little of what? Accountability? All we do is cancel people in this country and listen to all of the things that we're all doing wrong to make people like this feel more comfortable and happy. He says, and I quote, I hope Emma learns from this. Learns? You know what you taught her, you jackwagon? You taught her to hate people like you. I hope other people learn from this who engage in abusive, racist, and destructive behavior. Dude, she made some flippant comment about going to the hood. That's what happened. This is not some like you're called the N-word and you were physically attacked or anything, or no, none of that happened. None of that happened. So he goes on. One want to make sure I get the whole quote. He says, whether Emma lost her job or not, it doesn't take away the trauma that my fiance and I have. It doesn't take away the feeling of feeling like anything racist can happen anywhere. Trauma. Someone makes some flippant comment to you. We're not allowed to just walk on anymore, Alex. You can't just suck it up, man. Not with these people. Not with these people. It's a remote remark that could hurt their feelings is the same as trauma. Go, Alex. Go.
Here's the thing.
Here's
What
the
the
thing.
person did,
Yeah,
what the
that's
guy
a t-shirt
did,
we gotta do.
what the guy did was just stupid. Only because and again, he was lying because his goal was to get that person fired. There's no getting around that. His goal was to get that person fired. And the comment that was made was a comment that isn't exactly down the road that he thinks it is, because that's not a pejorative term. It's a cross-cultural term. So I don't necessarily understand the problem, but look, when we're at the time frame right now where these things have great legs that go a long ways, and you're always going to have grifters that are going to try to take advantage of these things, and that's what the guy is. He's just a grifter. But unfortunately, and this brings up the bigger problem, is that there are times that people do things that fit that category. And if they would simply just only pull out that card with time frame in which they need to, it would be a lot better for everybody. It's unfortunate that this is what we have a lot of people doing now, especially with the recreational anger, which is what this is. And, you know, he got his pound of flesh. He's trying to make himself not to be the bad guy right now, but that's exactly what he is.
So I teased how bad of an awful human being he is. And it's not just based on this silly racist book that he wrote, because this is right out of that Karen movie that I'm still trying to review for those one or two of you that have asked me why I haven't finished, and I've only gotten 20 or 30 minutes in because the movie's so terrible. It's just like this. It's this alternate reality where there's a racist behind every shrub, and the worst human in the world is somehow projected on every single person by their immutable traits. Okay. First off, this is how I knew who this person was. He's a Disney prostitute. He's a corporatist, right? So he created GoFundMe's to raise money. He raised like 70 grand, I kid you not, to take kids to go see Black Panther. He did it again for Captain Marvel with girls. The problem is somebody called him out and said, well, basically, aren't you just doing a fundraiser to give Disney a whole bunch of tickets? Why don't you have Disney just donate a bunch of tickets? Why are you trying to raise money? It's like you're just doing like a box office campaign to raise money for Disney. So he didn't like that. And really the best part was the guy got himself into some heat. That's how I found out about who he was a couple of years ago, because then everybody started posting their real GoFundMe's. So instead of having this weird pay for kids to go see a movie, people were asking those GoFundMe's like pay for this funeral, pay for this medical treatment, real GoFundMe's, like things that people do that, you know, are really get at your heartstrings. Then come to find out, and I knew who he was. He's an Elizabeth Warren honk. He's an Elizabeth Warren honk. I kid you not. I want to make sure I pull the right one. It's insane. So Mr. Whitey's are bad is an Elizabeth Warren supporter. Not even a Bernie bro. He's worse than that. Man, these things will not share tonight. I either copied them wrong or I did something wrong in preparing for this. I apologize, guys. I'm messing y'all up. I'm ranting and raving like a crazy person tonight.
You keep going any further down the road, you could be president.
I'll have to ramp up my Twitter to be more explosive. So, yeah, this is a tweet that he did just left the barbershop. Everyone was talking about Elizabeth Warren. Well, everyone was talking about her because you go, yo, your girl, bro. That's what we need to hear from Trump. What are you talking about? Like, it's just he's that level in the weeds with her on the campaign trail. There was a Saturday Night Live episode that Elizabeth Warren did, and he did a video with the two that the real Elizabeth Warren, the one that played her. So I don't know, man. Bob, how how on earth do we navigate through this element of our culture and coexisting with these people?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to do it, because the old adage, water off a duck's back, doesn't even exist anymore. People are that immature. That was easily something he could have just, walked away from. Other question is, how did he know the woman's name and where she worked?
I think he looked her up.
He did what?
He looked her
found
up.
her on Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's yeah.
And that's basically an element of doxing. So when I use that term, that's what I meant.
Right,
So I apologize if I didn't use it properly. Yeah.
But in $70,000 for taking kids to movies, how much of that actually went to movies? I mean, how many kids?
It all went to Disney.
Right, but how many kids?
But it all went to Disney.
Yeah. It's just really a shame that we've turned into this, and I don't think there's any turning back.
And this is the theme of the Karen movie, why I'm struggling to get through it, because it's so out of reality. I'm having a hard time because it's like this type of alternate approach to everything. Like the conflict that they have with this lady that's their neighbor, this Karen, is like just distance yourself from her. And once it gets to the point where she's cussing your wife out, I would just call the cops because I want a restraining order. I don't want her on my property, right? And then when there are all these other neighbors and characters, and no one is. It's like we're all supposed to believe because this one person's a racist, everyone's a racist. Like this one lady yells at him in some dog park, and we're all supposed to learn a lesson. We're all supposed to learn a lesson. It's like, what is wrong with you, man? You are so thin-skinned.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's just something about, what does it mean to be an adult now? How to put things into perspective, how to be humble. Not everything has to be about you and become a Twitter spectacle. Yeah, I think we're too far gone. You're asking if we're going back? Nay.
No. Nay. Good reference. Okay, before I go to my music stuff, because I want to talk to him, I'm not gonna let it go. I'm gonna make Bob endure my music segment.
Hang on, no, Brandon, hold on. You mentioned something. I think it was last week that we didn't get to actually talk about, and that was the Matrix. The Matrix preview.
Yes, the Matrix trailer.
Yeah, the trailer. What did you think about that? First off.
Okay, so the Matrix trailer for me, it is very conflicting. I got very excited because I want to see more Matrix. The problem is I don't really want to see more Matrix. I just want to see more of good Matrix, which is from the first movie only, because the other movies were terrible. Or okay, they're not terrible. They're average at best. They're just not good. And they're a major letdown because the first one is so good. So for me, I was very conflicted because of that emotional response that I 100% had. The problem that I have is in the trailer, especially when I watched it a second time, it's basically just fan service where they're showing us teases of things that we know they didn't know we're going to like, that we're stuck back into basically the movie. It's like remaking the first movie all over again with a couple little twists. And then the illusions of the fact that we're going to make Trinity as powerful as Neo is. And that's not particularly a great thing. So I will say I'm excited and I want to go see it. So that part works, but I'm sort of apprehensive. And I think the people, if you don't know their story, there's two brothers, the Wachowski brothers made the Matrix franchise. And they have now, I kid you not, both transitioned. So they're both transgender. I don't know how that's mathematically possible, but that is what happened. So, Alex, what were your thoughts? You checked it out?
I saw it. I liked it. It seemed like an interesting premise. I'm curious to know how they're going to, because I thought he died at the end of the third one.
Yep.
So how does he stay? Like, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. So I don't necessarily understand how they're going to make it, but it seemed like it was going to be. It seems like it's going to be good. So I was, and again, I actually liked all three, but I'm much more of a. I'm a lot more easier to please than Brandon, obviously.
It goes without saying.
Yeah,
it goes without saying. So
it goes without saying.
I like it.
Yeah.
There's
Bob,
another movie There's an go back.
Never
Go,
saw
go
it.
ahead. Oh, you never said. What do you care about culture?
He doesn't.
Did you see?
He might
did
see
you
it. He
see
might
the
see a movie. Or
preview?
he'll just rewatch Daredevil season 1 again. That's all
No.
he does.
Did you see the preview for the new Top Gun?
Yeah, I'm not a good person to talk to about that because I don't really care for the first.
You didn't like Top Gun the movie?
Yeah. So okay. So there's a joke that started when Tarantino started filmmaking that if you just listen to the audio in certain fight scenes, it has a very homoerotic tenor to it. And after hearing that for myself, I can't unsee it. So it's a little hard to take Top Gun differently now. Look, it's fine. I mean, I want movies to come back and make money, and I know there's a ton of buzz for Maverick and the people that want to see Top Gun again. It's not my thing, but I still, it's okay. I thought there were parts in the trailer I thought were actually pretty good and were actually more interesting than the original Top Gun. So if that turns out to be a well-reviewed and well-received thing, like there's more thematically that, garners seeing it, then yeah, I'll definitely check it out. You liked it because you brought it up.
Well, what I heard is that what they did with this movie is different than what they've done with a lot of other movies in the past, or something along those lines. All the scenes, all the airplane scenes are real scenes, and they're doing a whole lot more of the cockpit stuff that they were doing in the first one. They did some of it in the first one, but they didn't do it like they're not doing it like they're doing it now. Like now you have a tremendous, scenes, and the audio and visual stimulus there is going to be something big. Like if you want to see this movie, I think you need to see it in like an IMAX theater kind of deal.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I think that one of the appeals of the movie called Dunkirk is that those are real planes. They shot real footage. So that was one of the appeals for me when I saw it in the theater, saw the big IMAX, saw all that, was those were actually real replica planes that they built for this and filmed actual dogfight scenes and things like they had actually used archive footage to try to choreograph certain things. Yeah, if they start adding stuff like that to this, that would definitely interest me a whole lot more than just a standard action film. So I'm glad you told me that. I did not know that.
Yeah. So I watched a video on like the making of it or how they're making it, and they mentioned a whole lot of these things when they were doing it.
All right. So, okay, I have to have my happy places. And I'm having a hard time having happy places when the world keeps going crazy on me. So one of the things that had come out was the Rolling Stone put out this top 500 song list. And I thought it'd be a fun topic for us to discuss music, different songs. Obviously, the things that Rolling Stone would call number one would not be the things that we do necessarily. Obviously, taste matters. Obviously, a song's influence, I think, matters, and that may be different for all of us, right? So the original 2004 list, let me run down a couple, and then you can kind of tell me what your thoughts are. So this is the 2004 list. Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone, The Rolling Stones, Satisfaction, John Lennon, Imagine, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, and Aretha Franklin, Respect. That's 1 through 5. I don't have a problem with the list. I personally don't care for Imagine by John Lennon. I think the lyrics are just like appalling. Can't stand them.
Yeah,
I was never a huge fan of Satisfaction. I think there's 3 or 4 other Stone songs that are better than that, but I could live with the list. I understand the influence of Bob Dylan and Like a Rolling Stone. Not a huge fan of the song, but I get it. I think that was a pretty fair top 5 in 2004. Do you guys have any thoughts on any of that?
No, incredibly fair. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not my thing, but I can understand it.
Yeah. So the other songs are like, Good Vibrations, Beach Boys, Johnny Be Good, Chuck Berry, Hey Jude, Beatles, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana, and What I Say, Ray Charles, which is a song I didn't quite put in that top 10. That was back then. Anyway, so fast forward 2021, they redo the list, and it was weird to me to see certain things go up and down. And obviously, I have some happy moments and I have bad moments. But the biggest thing was there's an agenda, of course. So some highlights. So they actually, I got the top 20. And out of the top 20, just some notables. Imagine fell down to number 19. So I was happy about that. The Purple Rain was 18. Bohemian Rhapsody is 17. Beyonce made the list. The Beatles song "Hey Jude" is no longer on the list. Like, it's not in the top 20. So I don't understand what happened to "Hey Jude." It is by far considered the more clinically, musically sound song of the Beatles. Uh, what do they call it? Library. They added in the Beatles. The Beatles made the list at number 15. "I Want to Hold Your Hand," which is just a pop song, not considered. And "Strawberry Fields Forever" is 7, which is fine. It's more lyrically, I think, sound than some of the other songs. But I would think there were others that would be better. That was kind of notable. And the Stones is completely flip flop. So the Satisfaction's gone. I don't know what the deal is there. The Stones didn't get represented until number 13 with "Gimme Shelter," which at least is probably their best song. I was happy because Fleetwood Mac "Dreams" made the list. I don't know if you guys like Fleetwood Mac at all, but just remember, thunder only happens when it rains, and players only love you when they're playing. Anyway, needless to say, the new top 5 has Nirvana, "Smells Like Teen Spirit," which went from 9 to 5. Dylan, down to number 4. Sam Cooke, "A Change Is Gonna Come." Public Enemy, "Fight the Power," and Aretha Franklin, "Respect," is number 1. And I would note, if you didn't know, particularly for Bob, there's an Aretha Franklin biopic right now in the theaters called "Respect." So agenda, I think so. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, as far as song, is the purpose of this list of songs that had the most influence?
It's Rolling Stone, so I don't know. If they just say top songs,
whatever.
Greatest songs. They don't. That's the thing too. When you and I would do a list, we would define what we mean by greatest songs. So we would say, a certain number of sales, influence. We try to come up with something that was a more tangible criteria, but it's not. It's probably just a poll of surveys of different people.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's based on influence, I'm probably not as distraught as you are. I mean, we say "Fight the Power." That had
I don't even consider that a great rap song.
Yeah, that had tons of influence for that genre. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's number 2, but yeah, it's. I'm not really a fan, but I mean, it depends on the purpose. Seeing "Like a Rolling Stone" drop, because that's been number 1 for almost every single time that I can remember. And that has massive influence concerning the the folk rock era of 60s and 70s, and Tom Petty and Bruce Springsteen, et cetera, et cetera. I don't. And respect is really a great song. I'm probably different than most. I think the original is better. I like the original better. Do you know who did the original?
The original "Respect"?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't.
Yeah, it's Otis Redding.
Otis Redding. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's all I got to say. I mean, would my top 10 be different? Yeah, astronomically. But I mean, I'm not going to wig out over that.
Alex is on the move. Let's see what he has to say. Alex, what makes your list? What are some of the things that makes the list? I mean, you're not. I think you kind of said you're not really in tune with the Rolling Stones' taste here. But what are some of your thoughts on what you consider need to be at the top of the heap for your song list?
I mean, there's no Zeppelin in the top 10. I mean, we're not going to put Zeppelin there. I can understand putting "Public Enemy, Fight the Power." I do think it's an iconic song, so I think that makes a difference. I think the "Teen Spirit's" an iconic song because it really was the beginning of the grunge movement, so you could put that song there. But you're not going to put. Again, it's everything has it's a good song, but at the same time, like there's others good songs. I'd tell you for the Beatles, my favorite Beatles song is "In My Life." That's my favorite Beatles song. So I definitely would go with that for the Beatles song. Where's Bruce Springsteen in it? So like it's and Elvis Presley wasn't in the top 20. Mm-hmm. Now I think some of those people they got rid of for political reasons. You know what I mean? And they moved it around that way. But where's Jimi Hendrix at? Jimi Hendrix isn't there.
Hendrix isn't in the top either. Yeah.
It's just
and the problem is that the way they have it.
Well, guys, you know what I
was
find
just going to say the way they have it set up is it's not easy to sort through their list. Like I'd have to buy the magazine, which I'm not doing. So it's difficult to navigate because it's like it only goes like by so many, and then you have to click the tab. It's like there's no easy way to sort through this behemoth of 500 songs, and definitely if I'm trying to compare the one to the other. So I just kind of like pulled out a couple here and there.
Yeah.
So I can't answer your question. Like, where does Hendrix and Zeppelin land?
Yeah, the one thing that kind of shocks me is that Imagine dropped, because that song fits these times incredibly well. It fits the agenda very well.
And they love that song. They are obsessed with that song.
Yeah. So if there's an agenda,
so for me,
Imagine should be on top.
Right. So for me, I went to my happy place today, Bob. You weren't here for my thing, right? So I went to the Journey, the Don't Stop Believin'. It's a cliche, silly pop song, right? I got it. And the Rolling Stone does totally dismiss it, by the way. It's like 133rd on the list or something. But it's also like they give it this little backhanded popular song of the 80s, like almost like, the 80s. Like it was written with a very sneering tone. But did you know? I found out 2 songs have been downloaded 1 billion times, and that's one of them. Don't Stop Believing.
What's the other one?
Obviously, you ready? It deserves. It's so clear when you hear it. You want to take any other stabs at what you think? Think a little about karaoke, because karaoke does factor into this. Obviously, Don't Stop Believing is this massive karaoke song. It's a karaoke song, and I will say this: it is actually on the top 20 list. If I give you the band, you'll know immediately. Queen.
Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, yeah. Billion, they're the only 2. And actually, the Queen song was first, but people have credited the fact that they did that movie, that Freddie Mercury movie, and that's what it boomed in downloads and stuff like that during that time frame. So, So I think that they didn't obviously focus on the legacy bands. They didn't obviously focus on pure sales or anything like that. Because like you said, you brought up Elvis. I was going to bring up Elvis. But thanks, Alex, for that. Even the Beatles, like they're very scattered in the list. And then, like you say, you feel like there is a lot of agenda here with, putting Public Enemy so high. It's like, is it because it's an anthem for Black Lives Matter last year? Is that part of the reason? Is respect there because of the movie? You start to question all this stuff, and I hate to feel that way. And if it was just one thing, I wouldn't feel that way. But it's not innocuous to me. Sam Cooke is suddenly number 3. Well, Sam Cooke wasn't in the top 10 last time. So why does Sam Cooke getting all this love? I mean, A Change is going to Come is an okay song, but I don't say that his best song. Anyway, I don't know. I think it was just another reflection of the culture and kind of the battle perspective, the different divides. I think, Bob, you said it right too earlier when you're talking about, I don't know there's a way to get everyone to play nice. You can't let someone be, you can't walk away from a fence. And that, I don't know. I want to have faith. I'm not going to stop believing that we can do it. That was my theme for the day. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to try to find a way to have some faith and some hope, man. I'm going to find a way. And I was in my happy place. I was pinging all sorts of 80s music and stuff. That's my special place. Actually, it's probably 80s and 90s. I love Beastie Boys. That was my Nexus era for rap music. So, Bob, I didn't ask you your top of your music list. You're definitely a different taste than me. So, what would be the top of your list?
Well, probably for the past many years, I just listen to classical and hymns. But I did grow up in the 70s. So I was a big fan of course, Zeppelin, Jethro Tull, Pink Floyd, that kind of music. Yeah. And I was a huge Bob Dylan fan as a kid. When I was a kid, I wanted to grow up to be a Dylanologist.
Dylanologist.
Somebody who sat around and analyzed his lyrics. Yeah.
Dylanologist. Bob the Dylanologist. I'm with you though. I spend most of my time I listen to Christian music and a very limited library of other stuff, and then I kind of have this playlist of things that I'll kind of get into and I have a love for and stuff. So, all right. Well, that was kind of I didn't have a lot. You guys, you want to bring up anything else? I mean, it was fun to talk movies for a change. I have to tell you that I'm actually going to go see the Venom movie tomorrow, so that'll be interesting. I have very low expectations, but I'm looking to be entertained and have some fun. So hey, let's see how it goes. Venom is tomorrow.
You don't think that's going to be a good movie with Woody Harrelson in it?
Well, I love Woody Harrelson, and I hope that it's a great movie. I hope it is. I hope it is a great movie and a lot of fun. I'm actually looking forward more to the Sopranos prequel that has Gandolfini's son playing the younger version of him. Yeah, I have higher expectations for that, but I cautiously have higher expectations. And I'm also very biased because I love mob movies. So those are the two that come out this week. And then, of course, the week after is the James Bond movie. So, I love James Bond movies. So, yeah, it's kind of like a good little run here. A couple things I'll hopefully get to go see in theaters for a change.
Well, hey, I think part of it. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Brandon if he's seen the new Clint Eastwood movie.
I did. I did a review. Of Cry Macho.
All right. Well, how does it stand?
Very slow. It is very it's like a 2. It's like a 4 out of 10. It's very slow. Very, very slow. I have a friend that's going to probably come on with me next Tuesday and defend it because he liked it a lot. So we'll see. It is. It's about an old man who was a former rodeo bronco buster, lost his family. He's now got alcohol issues, whatever. The person that's been helping him out kind of had his fill of it all, kind of cast him out. Then we flash forward a year or so, needs his help, asked him to go to Mexico to get his son, who's down there with the wife. The scenes are very discombobulated, and then it's just this long road trip movie with him and this kid. And it is sweet. It has this middle part that's actually very sweet, but it's very, very slow, very slow. I don't think it has a lot of really good character development that Clint has accomplished in some of his other movies. So I can't recommend it. The ending's terrible, but I just don't understand Hollywood. Hollywood does these things and they think they're I don't know, they're trying to be clever. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But you can watch my review. Spoilers, of course, in my review. I dive a lot deeper into Cry Macho, which is the name of the rooster. What are you smirking about, Snicker? What have we done?
Okay, so I'm not smirking about anything, but I have the show notes for Saturday show, and Adrian started. I saw I use Google Docs, so I saw Adrian actually was online putting things up, so I'm just spouting curse words at him as he's putting stuff up, and he's spouting them back.
Perfect. Sounds totally inappropriate.
But I didn't want to tell you what those words were, Randon. I understand that your virgin ears cannot take those things, so I will refrain.
So my virgin ears are still in recovery of the things that they have heard for many, many years, and it's not that I can't handle it, as I try not to alienate large portions of my audience that don't want to hear it. So that's the main reason that we try to go with that route. So it's just it's a thing we do. It's PG-13. Go ahead.
There is one story that I did want to talk about, though, and that is that YouTube is going to be banning a whole lot of anti-vax people, and they're taking down the channels for like Joseph Mercola, Robert Kennedy Jr. Anybody that's at all anti-vax is about to be purged out of YouTube.
Yeah, and I think that it's a tricky thing because obviously you don't know what their criteria for that will be. I've heard people who are being interviewed on other shows sound kind of anti-vax, and will that get the channel taken down? Like if I talk to someone who had sounded that way, I mean, I don't know, man. This has been you love it. Authoritarian psychopaths. These are people that have some sort of element of control. They're going to flex their muscle, do what they can do, and we have had a lot of flags on a lot of our videos. That's all I can say. And I've already looked into registering us through other outlets to go ahead and have backups and see how it goes. And we'll see. I don't really I actually kind of had a global warming story kind of in the hopper but it'll also it don't get flagged. They had that little disclaimer. And I assume when they get those disclaimers, that means you can't monetize. Bob, do you know if that's true or not? Because you're at least monetized.
I get those all the time. I still get monetized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just
Yeah,
want
so
to have a
it's-
link.
it's-
It's just a link to take you to
Mhm.
the experts.
True telling. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know, Alex, I'm with you. I don't know what the future will hold with that. I don't know who will be above and bar the limbo line, and will survive. I don't know. Yeah. No KFC story. That was still my fun. I have to admit, when I was doing editing, that was my favorite part of the week. Was I was putting together the South Park KFC story, and it's still classic to me. I loved it. It's great.
Yeah. I can't believe it. I can't believe it actually happened in real life. Like, I feel like we should have a bingo game where you put all these things on South Park that haven't happened in real life yet. And then if something happens in real life, you get you pick your spots, and whoever gets bingo first wins like a pool of money. Like, you got to put in like $20 to get your card. And then you put all these different things on there for South Park, and you just wait to see when it happens.
If you would expand it and include like Rick and Morty and Simpsons, it'll go a lot faster because they're both truth tellers as well with this ridiculous. So that way you have 3 different parameters, all these different things that can happen, because Simpsons is like become a joke and a meme. I think there's even a playlist on Disney Plus about like Simpsons seeing into the future or something. Like, it's just these episodes where whatever the topic was or the reference to it came true. And I was like, okay, we've jumped a shark with Simpsons if we have that many that even Disney Plus creates its playlist. So yeah, no, I think that there are a lot of South Park episodes that are like, ooh, that's a little much. I don't know if I will see that come true or not, but hey, yeah, it definitely did. It definitely did. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good week. It didn't feel, I don't know, I didn't feel as nihilistic in some ways as I did in some of the past weeks. Maybe it's because the Middle East stuff at least was a little bit quieter, not necessarily better, but quieter. I don't know. I don't know. What's going on with you this week, Bob? You had a live stream. What was it, Rabies Day?
World Rabies Day, and Alex. So yeah, we did an 1.5-hour live stream. I had a couple of rabies experts on, and I got some pretty great reviews. I got a bunch of emails and some additional Twitter followers and all the nonsense that goes along with it. But it was a blast. And if you care about that topic, it's a great show to watch. And since we were on the music topic, can I bring up another story?
Yeah. Oh,
sure. You rock and roll.
Phil
I got to figure
Collins.
out, there is an option somehow. They all say there's options to let you share your stuff, and I still have not figured out how that works. Do you know how that works?
No, I haven't tried it. I have no idea. I was just thinking about it when we were talking about music, because I figured, all right, this appears to be the theme. I saw an article about Phil Collins, because Genesis is getting ready to start touring again for the first time in umpteen years, right?
Jeez Louise.
And the dude's like, I think he's like 70, but he's basically crippled. He can't play drums anymore because he can't hold the drumsticks. That's how bad off his hands are, his arms or whatever. He's had all these back issues, so he's got to be, he's got to sit in a stool the whole time singing. And then there was an article that described his personal habits by his ex-wife. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. But she said he's just like nasty. He just stays home. He's like a hermit. Hasn't brushed his teeth or showered in like a year. All kinds of stuff. The guy is just, he's a mess. You can barely recognize him now. So I just,
jeez Louise.
I know. It was like, I guess all that.
Man.
I mean, he's actually up there as one of the biggest gross record sales at all time. He's like really high, and so he's made gazillions of dollars. And where's it gotten him? He's a mess now.
So one of my favorite references from Monty Python is to bring out your dead. And it's like the dead guy's hanging over the shoulders, like not quite dead yet. This was the New York Post covering Phil. It's like not quite dead yet. Look at that. Not dead yet. Oh, there
you got to work on
not
stream.
dead yet.
Does Phil Collins have like a young wife
he's
or
in a
something?
little stool. That's
she's younger. Yeah. I mean, he looks like he's singing from a geriatric home. You know.
I
don't
didn't
get
see
why
it come
you
up in
do it
the
unless
thing.
I think he's being pushed by like a I think he's being pushed to do this by a younger wife so she can collect some money or something.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they're either divorced or separated, so I'm not really sure.
No, I don't know.
But I know the other.
Yeah, I
the
don't
other,
see a current. I don't see a current spouse.
I mean, he's going to be touring with the original band members. So, without
Wow. He's 70.
except for Peter Gabriel, yeah, of course.
He is a rough 70.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. This goes on and on and on about his health. That's crazy. Yeah. No, I did not know. I don't really stay up to date on a lot of that kind of stuff. I know I did my little Journey rant because I was just listening to that kind of music and stuff, and I just found it fascinating. You had a billion people downloaded, but it is sad because we're going to be at this point real soon where like they're all getting. I mean, he's 70. Imagine how much older, some of these Stones guys are, and so that are still alive. It's like, oof, it's a lot. Yeah. So
stop touring.
I know. Why would they do that? Why would they not just do speaking tours? Why would you just go around? Because I went and saw an actor, Carrie Ells, that did Princess Bride. He did this thing down at like the Performing Arts Center. They showed a couple movie clips. He talked and had some questions and answers and things like that. It was a nice thing. You meet some fans, probably make a few bucks, sell your books, sell your albums, put your music out there, sell some shirts, whatever. It's so much less stress than an actual concert. I don't understand the appeal of doing these shows like this. I
don't get it either.
Yeah. Anyway, Snicker, what's going on with you? Unattended baggage, obviously rolling right along. Anything you could tease for us about that for this week?
We're going to talk a little bit about the trail derailment, the trail derailment in Montana, and I thought this was a great episode to be able to kind of show how, like, the federal government is not nearly as much of a help as the local citizens around the area are. So I thought that was a pretty cool one. That was a pretty cool thing that was going on right there. There's a couple DCF picks for the Cassandra, or DFC picks for the Cassandra trigger. That's the dystopian future chart. So we have a couple things going on for there. And then I will talk trash with Adrian because on Saturday night we will be playing poker at my house. So it'll be fun to kind of talk trash with Adrian before the game starts.
That's awesome. That's always
awesome.
Awesome.
And next Saturday, we're actually after the show, we're going to go out for drinks at Stilt House in Tarpon.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw your alert on that. Yeah. For you. They sound like fun times. It's good times.
So we'll see if somebody shows up. If they bring their coin, they get a free drink.
Ooh, bring your coin.
And they get to keep the coin. I don't take the coin away.
So show your coin. Yeah, I got you.
They just got to show it to me.
Well,
good, folks. Head over to Patreon/unattended baggage and support the cause there. Bob.
Oh, I was going to say, I opened up my email a week or two ago, and there was a link to Unintended Baggage. So I actually listened to the first hour, and the first time I've admittedly ever listened to it. You're a really a quiet dude on that show, man. Adrian controlled the show, man. I was like, "Where is Alex, man? Where's Alex?"
He's here. He's here getting it all out, and then he just winds Adrian up and just turns him loose.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, you should see what I tell him before the show and stuff. It's funny, but you know what? Some of those weeks though, and it's been the past couple weeks where Adrian, he's got a lot to say, and so I just kind of let him. Like I interject where I can, but like if he's ranting. And especially if he's like taking some time to research stuff, if he's done that stuff, then I definitely let him go. And then, there's a couple weeks where I'll take over, a couple weeks where he takes over, I think. But he does, and you got it because I sent it through the tiny letter.
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't
remember. No. I sent it through the tiny letter. Because I have MailChimp, but then I have this thing, tiny letter, that I put a whole bunch of email addresses in a long time ago. And on rare occasions, I actually use it because every time I send an email out, I lose like 50 or 75 people out of it. And I never try to refill it. So but every once in a while, I do get some people that sign up on it.
That's great. I'm glad we're not alone with this. My problem is it'll shut my email box down because I'll get so many not delivered nonsense back to me. It'll crash a stupid box or something. And the dispatch box is a nightmare, man. trying to keep things I need to actually find, because I have an interview tomorrow, and I'm like trying to stay in communication with this guy. And then I had another one that was supposed to happen, and they emailed me they couldn't do it. I didn't see it. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much noise with the world and the communication. So I empathize with a newsletter and email address boxes. But hey, listen, you reach that guy. Let's see, that guy right there.
The problem with MailChimp is that as soon as you hit 2,000, it becomes a paid gig.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't use it. I don't use it no more.
Yeah, ours tapped out, and we're like, I'm done. I'm out. I got to 2,000, and I'm sure it fluctuates a little bit there, but I stopped using it for that same reason too. Once it got to 2,000, I'm like, well, it is what it is. So yeah, interesting. Well, busy week ahead for us all. Some cool stuff that we've had a chance to chit chat about. Always good. And yeah, you guys have a good one, and we'll talk again soon. Do it again next week.
Have a great evening, guys.
Take care,
Don't
gentlemen.
stop believing. Don't stop believing. All right. I have to go out on the note one last time. Let me find it. Bye, potato cakes. That's our show tonight, folks. Thanks for hanging out with me, watching some of our clips. We appreciate it. Thanks.